Okay, another video, third and final one for today. Getting tired. This time talking through the discography and naming one underrated song for Iced Earth, the mighty band from the US of A. They've got how many albums? 12 studio albums to get through. One underrated song per band. I don't know if that sound is too loud. Let me turn it down a bit. Yeah, don't want you to not hear my voice. So anyway, Iced Earth, yes, great band. Some great albums. Some not so great, but the quality is always pretty much there. They're one of those. I've seen them live. I think 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. But not with Ripper. I saw them with Matt Barlow and Stu Block, but not the Ripper era. I missed the Ripper era. I don't know what happened, but anyway. Anyway, let's get on with this. Iced Earth, discography, one underrated song per album. Starting with the debut, which is just self-titled, called Iced Earth. And the song I've picked out is When the Night Falls. It's the last song on the album. It's the epic of the album. It's a really cool song. It's got it's one of those with allows time to build. It's got good riffs. The production on the album is poor, but well, we forgive them that. It was a long time ago. It's their start, so they didn't have a huge budget yet. But When the Night Falls is a great song. I'd love to hear that live one day. The other 2 songs to mention are Colours, which is another pretty cool song, and the band's self-titled song, Iced Earth. Very cool song. They always literally play that live. Near enough always. One time they didn't when I saw them, but it's such a great song. I mean, I love the title track, but it's well liked, so the one I want to pick as underrated is When the Night Falls. Right, moving on. Next album is Night of the Storm Rider. A different singer. This time, I think it's John Greeley. The first album was Gene Adam. He wasn't a good singer. But by the way, I should add, the versions which I like are the ones on the Days of Purgatory with Matt Barlow singing a lot of these songs, because they obviously re-recorded for Days of Purgatory, and the old songs sound so much better. So I prefer those. I mean, the Gene Adam version of the Iced Earth album is not good because of his vocals. And John Greeley, he's okay. He's a little bit better, but he's still no Matt Barlow. But the song I want to mention from Night of the Storm Rider is Pure Evil. That is just an awesome song. I mean, especially the Matt Barlow version on Days of Purgatory. That is just an awesome song. I love that, Pure Evil. There's more songs I have to mention from Night of the Storm Rider. So many good songs. Storm Rider, which is just an awesome song. John Schaefer himself sings that. Desert Rain, very catchy song. Traveling Stygian, epic song. The Path I Choose, that's a heavy pounder. Oh god, wicked song. I mean, Night of the Storm Rider is an awesome album. Especially when Matt Barlow redoes the songs on Days of Purgatory. Next album they did is Burnt Offerings. It's a very heavy, dark album. The song I picked out here is the title track, Burnt Offerings. It's the opener. It's a pretty cool song. It's got some sort of cool melodies here and there. The album on the whole is not a hugely melodic affair. The main song of the album is the monster epic at the end, Dante's Inferno. It is a very good song. I mean, it's got a lot of passages, dark, very dark, very heavy at times. Typical Iced Earth, the triplets. It's a good song, but Burnt Offerings, I like it a little bit more because it's a little bit more succinct. It's a bit more compact. But everyone loves Dante's Inferno from Iced Earth. It's one of their most well known. The next album, The Dark Saga, I love. It's an awesome album. It's much more melodic. It's much more in line with my taste. The song I love here is The Hunter. That's just an awesome song. That's really underrated. Very catchy. Great riffs. Very melodic. Awesome. Two other songs to quickly mention. Vengeance Is Mine. It's a heavy pounder. Like the older Iced Earth, if you want. And I Died For You, one of their classic ballads. Very cool song. They started to have more ballads as they went on. Next album, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Awesome album, what can I say? The songs I'm going to mention, actually, I'm going to do them as a triplet. It's the Something Wicked trilogy at the end. I know they're all separate songs as well, but you got to mention them as a whole. But the part that I like most is the Coming Curse. You can call it the last section. So the Coming Curse, I'm naming is underrated. The other song to mention from earlier on is My Own Saviour. It's a pretty heavy, pounding song. Very good song. The whole album is just awesome anyway. Next album they released was Horror Show. It's an album based on characters of horror, basically horror books in history, and characters from different shows, even I think films, etc., that have songs written about them by John Schaefer. The song that I like most here is The Phantom Opera Ghost. I think that's a really cool song. Very catchy. It's quite a long one as well. Three more songs to mention from Horror Show. Imhotep, very good song. Dracula and Jack, all good songs. I mean, Horror Show is a good album. It's a solid album. It's a good listen. It's a good general, typical Iced Earth listen without the concept. The only concept is that it's a theme on the characters. The songs themselves are not linked. The next album they released is The Glorious Burden, which is the first album with Ripper Owens. It's a very good album. Good start with Ripper. The song I want to mention here is Red Baron Blue Max. It's a catchy song. It's got a very catchy chorus. Ripper's voice goes super high, super powerful as well still on the chorus. Three other songs to mention from The Glorious Burden. Green Face, pounding song. Valley Forge, melodic song. And Declaration Day, another pretty cool song. The Glorious Burden is a very good start for Ripper. The next album is Framing Armageddon, Something Wicked Part 1. Yeah, this is an okay album. It's probably not my favourite, but it's okay. The song I'm picking here is The Clouding. I think it's a good epic song at the end of the album. It's quite long. The other two songs to mention are Setian Massacre and A Charge to Keep. Both pretty cool songs. It's a good album. It's definitely not their best though. That's for certain. The next album is The Crucible of Man, Something Wicked Part 2. This is the return of Matt Barlow. So Ripper was out. Matt Barlow was brought back, I think, through fan clamour. People were saying, well, we want Matt Barlow back. So John Schaefer listened to them. He brought back Matt Barlow. And it wasn't hugely successful. It's a good album, but it wasn't hugely successful. The song I like on this album is Divide Devour. That's a really heavy pounding song. Really thrashy, great riffs. Very cool. And Barlow sounds aggressive on that. The other two songs to mention are The Dimension Gauntlet and Come What May, the epic at the end. Dimension Gauntlet is very heavy, very fast, similar to Divide Devour. That's why I sort of like them two more. Come What May is a good song as well. Right at the end, it was a good album, but in the end, it didn't work out because Barlow had a job, and I think he didn't fancy being in a band full time anymore, and he left Iced Earth again, and they got Stu Block in from Into Eternity, the American power metal band. Well, they're sort of mix of power and prog and thrash. He used to do a lot of screaming in Into Eternity, so I think Iced Earth fans were a little worried when Stu Block came. We weren't sure, like, I hope this guy doesn't start screaming. And then I was reading people saying, well, I don't think John Schaefer would allow that because he doesn't want Iced Earth to be like one of those modern bands which has a lot of screechy, screaming vocals and then clean ones mixed in as well. Iced Earth has always been a classic heavy metal band. So anyway, our fears were were unfounded because we're not born fruit, if you like. Because Stu Block came in on Dystopia, the next album, and he was awesome. And he sounded exactly like Barlow. He sounded like a more aggressive, younger Barlow, but very similar. It was like Barlow incarnate, a young Barlow incarnate. Dystopia was a great start for the Stu Block era, and I think it still remains the best of the Stu Block albums. The song I want to mention here is V or 5. Very cool song, very catchy. The whole album is really nice. I think there's not a huge concept in it. I think it's more like a theme of, like as the title would suggest, some kind of futuristic, dystopian future, something like that. 3 more songs to mention from Dystopia. Days of Rage, typical fast, aggressive song. Boiling Point, as the title would suggest, another fast, aggressive song. Tragedy and Triumph, very good song as well. Dystopia was a very good album. I really enjoyed Dystopia. The next album with Stu Block was Plagues of Babylon. Yeah, it's more of the same, but it wasn't quite as good as Dystopia. It's fairly similar. Stu sounds good. The song I like here as underrated is Demo Side. I think that's a really heavy, good song. Very powerful. Some other good songs to mention: Resistance, heavy song. Parasite, yeah, another heavy song. If anything, Plagues of Babylon is heavier than Dystopia. It's slightly less melodic. Highwayman was another good song on Plagues of Babylon. And finally, the most recent Iced Earth album, Incorruptible, which has been quite a while actually. So we are really due and something from Iced Earth, but I think John Schaefer got busy with Demons and Wizards because he went touring with them. I actually saw the tour. It was really good. And he released the 3rd Demons and Wizards album, which is very disappointing. I don't know, it's just not very melodic at all. It's just not catchy enough like the first Demons and Wizards, which is also, even the second one is pretty good, but that 3 album, I don't know, maybe I didn't give it enough of a chance, but it didn't do a lot for me. But anyway, getting sidetracked. Incorruptible is a good album. It's heavy. It's pretty similar to Get Plagues of Babylon. It's just continuing on the theme. The song I like there is Defiance. It's a very heavy song, pretty catchy too. 2 other songs to mention: Seven-Headed Whore. It's a very typical fast Iced Earth song. The other song, final song to mention, is Cleared Away, which is like an epic song towards the end of the album. Very good song. Incorruptible is a solid Iced Earth album. You know, it's solid latter day Iced Earth album. But I do hope for them to come back soon and give us another installment of Iced Earth music. But please make it more melodic this time, and well, keep it thrashy but keep it very melodic as well. Something like Dystopia would be perfect. Anyway, I'm going to do an Iced Earth ranking of the full discography as well. Number 12, Framing Armageddon, Something Wicked Part 1. Number 11, The Crucible of Man, Something Wicked Part 2. Number 10, Plagues of Babylon. Good albums from here on. 9 is Incorruptible. Number 8, Horror Show. Good album. Number 7, Dystopia, my favourite of the latter day period. Number 6, Glorious Burden with Ripper, very good album, very good start. Number 5, Burnt Offerings, very heavy, very dark. A little bit too dark for me, very moody, very dark. I mean, a lot of people would say Burnt Offerings is their favourite Iced Earth album because it's so mean and dark and moody, but I don't know, I find it a little bit too hard going. I mean, it's really heavy, but there's not a lot there for the listener, but it's still amazing, of course. Having said that, right, the top 4 is Iced Earth, the debut, but not with Gene Adams singing. If I could switch it to Barlow, it would be even better. But I love the songs on it; it's awesome for a start, but without the vocals of Gene Adams. Number 3 is Night of the Storm Rider. Very good album, great riffs, so many great songs on there. Especially, once again, as I said, the re-records with Matt Barlow. Number 2 album is The Dark Saga, probably the most melodic Iced Earth album. Very catchy, that one. They moved away from their thrashy, powery roots. They're going for more melodic heavy metal. And the number 1 album, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Yeah, it's just an awesome album. I think it was the first Iced Earth album I heard as well, going way back when it first came out. I think it's an awesome album. It remains probably their best. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's got heaviness. It's got a lot of melody. It's got a lot of great vocals. It's got a little bit of everything that's great about Iced Earth in it on that album. Okay, there you have it. That's the full Iced Earth rundown. Okay, that's my third and final video for today. I don't know when these will be uploaded, but soon. Stay heavy.